In any case, you get to sit down by me now. Welcome back, man, for 4 months. So, to explain what's going on this screen here, you will have all the stats, and well, not all the stats, but you're gonna have the stats ready here. Actually, let me see if I have the YouTube version up instead. 1 second. I don't. Okay. So I'm playing this with on my PC locally. Now, sometimes when I wanna talk about Mano's perspective, you can't see really what he does, right? And you can then check some of these two cams instead. That's the reason why I brought in this, because now we don't really have to make magic with Epic Pen and like think in 4D, 5D, and yeah, it's a lot easier. So starting here with first fight, this is after San Francisco won on Sanctuary. Unfortunately, I couldn't manage to get a hold of Sanctuary. Instead, starting with first fight here, NYXL won it pretty easily, and now going into the second fight, Nene, he's gonna use his bubble on Mano and try to farm energy. They try to rotate backwards, and they do that while farming ults, or they rotate backwards so that they can farm ults, but also cut down on the bubble cooldown. And then they try to set up for choke, make it so that JJoNak, he can frag out, and they try to deny super the choke. And then once Nene goes for grab, Mano is gonna position himself in a way that he can pin super away, and that exposes Shock for who JJoNak come in.
These choke points to actually threaten him, so he's able to do more of what he wants. And when he gets to these angles, he comes up big.
And the reason for him holding shield like this is so that he can see all the way down in the stairs. One second. Go.
With the damage, he leads Violet 20% of ult charge here, but that's just the majority of New York. That's a majority because New York backed away.
So now he backs away, he gets bubbled, but he's also super low, right?
San Francisco straight back out the gate. Big Mano low, JJoNak.
And they've already cut down some on the bubble cooldown here.
Down. Transcendence now going to be online. Has that bailout button. Also could use it in case Sinatraa wants.
So right now, still just setting up. Violet is going low here. Then after Shock has used their bubbles, they engage with Rally. It forces, well, not after they have used, but they engage with Rally in order to force out bubbles, and then Shock retreats.
Pushing forward, San Francisco Shock. See,
and that's because if they don't fall back, Brig is gonna go for stun or a boop. And another thing here, sure, this is a grab, but Mano, he blocks Sinatraa all the time, so Sinatraa doesn't get as much ult charged as Nene gets.
Doing a ton. Got the trance.
Grab's gonna be coming through, locking up the San Francisco Shock. Violet pops the Transcendence. Moth going lower.
And now, might not be visible yet, but Super is over here, and JJoNak can decide to either shoot Super or he can shoot the enemy team. It's very easy to get kills here.
Lower, they're able to focus fire him. As Meko gets the kill, now answering trance out from JJoNak. And alongside the Lucio goes down Super, so losing out.
So going for next fight. Mano, he sets up on high ground. He's gonna turn his shield. Let's see, like this. So he turns his shield, and he does that in order to hide his shield in the wall here, and then he can look down the stairs. He can see everything. He can see exactly how Shock are rotating. He doesn't have to expose himself, but he can also see down this lane. Now, he also hears enemies before they come up, and he tries to shatter here. He does it because he's, he wants to get a quick fight or something, and try to deny that last fight for Shock. And he gets focused. He dies. However, NYXL, they wanted to counter with the own beat. And unfortunately for Shock, that's enough for NYXL. Mano still dies. And I'm gonna explain what happens after, but this is the life of Reinhardt sometimes. So they bomb. Now, Super's holding the shield, but you can shatter through his shield. He gets shattered, you die. Nothing you can do, really. Now they bomb. Meko dead. No, I mean Rascal dead, Violet dead. And that's, how they win the fight here. And it might seem like Mano didn't really do much, but he sets up his teammates, So let's go for downtown. Shock. They're gonna try and boop Mano forward here, but he's being bubbled. And Choyobin is... he's being bubbled as Choyobin is going for boop, and as Moth is, trying to set up for boop, but he can't, because Moth can't set up for boop. You'll be able to see here on the lower right that because Libra is blocking him and JJoNak is blocking as well. So instead, Shock, they're gonna try to still focus on Mano, but try to get a stun in on him, or work around the bubbles, etc. And they're gonna cap point. While capping point, Mano's gonna rotate to high ground, and they will rotate because they will use bubbles, and they're gonna do this over and over in the matchup. But yeah, I'll fill in with more soon. So you see, they're waiting. And if it feels like nothing is happening, check the bottom right here. They're trying to deny JJoNak. So point unlocked. Move to point. So they get a cap, and as they're capping here, they just rotate to the other side because they use bubbles. They deny Sinatra high ground, then they drop themselves. However, Mano, he dies. It might feel like he dies because he's too early, etc. But it's actually Nene here. Let me select a better color. Nene here. He bubbles his D.Va by mistake. So Mano, as a result, doesn't get the damage reduction or damage block, and he dies. So it's just a simple mistake by NYXL. It happens to even the best. And yeah. Once Mano drops down, he's dead. And JJoNak uses trance in Meko is gonna try to keep the fight going, and JJoNak uses trance in order to save Meko, but JJoNak ends up being out of range. Gonna see it shortly here. So Meko goes in, and there's JJoNak with trance. Meko out here, and trance range is just barely outside of Meko's range. And then he moves to the side, Mako moves forward in order to get into the trance. JJoNak, he moves to the side, I don't know why, but he's still outside of the range. And that's why Mako is about to die here. So it's a really bad fight for InnoXL. Now he's dead. And they wanted to keep the fight going in order for Mano to come back and respawn.
Tries to keep Meko in there, but he cannot do so. They lose out on the suit.
And this happens.
San Francisco Shock did well to.
So for second fight, Mano is gonna go on like here on I don't know what it's called, like balcony or maybe apartments, you know, whatever you want to call it. He's gonna drop down and he creates some space, gets bubbled, then he plays safe until bubbles are back and they go for grab. No, he's gonna end up in a grab. Yo, Benchmob, thank you so much, man. Been loving the player analysis streams lately. Keep it up. I have no idea why it's muted. The thingy. The voice. Anyways, thank you so much, Benchmob. Thank you so much, man.
To be aggressive. Mano tried, he failed, he was caught. They committed the trance even. That was a terrible fight for the Excelsior. San Francisco Shock made them.
So yeah, Mano's gonna end up in a grab right soon after this.
Keeping tabs on JJoNak.
So because they use bubbles, they gotta play safe. Otherwise, Mano might die, and JJoNak can't really play aggressive either. Now they get grabbed, killed, nothing you can do really. Going for the third fight here. Mano is gonna drop extremely low before he drops to the ground. And it's just too much damage. He doesn't drop shield, it doesn't get discorded. It's just so much damage focused onto Mano. And Libero, he walks under. He tries, well, he drops down, he tries to secure the ground so that Rascal can't hide behind or, you know, underneath the drop. And it's so that they can counterstun. Once Mano is dropped down, he fails to block a shatter, but the team, you know, they don't die. They kill Choyobin though. And then they rotate to point. Once Mano is on point, tries to block Sinatraa from doing damage and just pushes back the enemies. And we can take some more after. So there's the blocked shatter, or well, the shatter that he missed. Anima kills Choyobin with JJoNak. And now they push point. And you can see here, Mano is constantly looking for super in Sinatraa, just trying to like block the damage from coming in anywhere. So Sinatraa can't really right click, can't really left click either, and it's just a real pain.
They lose the point, not going to be the end of the world.
So bubble on Mano. He goes in, swings, and bubble ends. Now he falls back. And as he's five striking, Nene helps him. So he's gonna get booped to the side and then shatter, but doesn't find anything else but Sinatraa. And yeah, even though he manages to stun Sinatraa, he resorts to the corner. He's gonna go here to the left. And he needs to play super safe because he's gonna end up super low. And you'll see that he's gonna swing around the corner here in order to damage super, because super goes low as well. And the damage is necessary. He's on 68 HP. There's only rally out. But he can't swing around the corner because you can't really do like enough consistent damage from Shock in order to finish him off. And if you, for example, you see that he starts swinging before he turns the corner, he does this because the swing animation carries over. Well, it's, how to say, he extends the animation. So once super is dead, they can freely push out. Now for fourth fight, Mano is gonna position to block the damage from Shock and try to make it easy for Nene to grab. Super gets split from his teammates, and Manu goes for kill on Super. Well, this is because of a grab as well. Super gets split. The rest of the team, they focus on Shock with no shield, while Manu focuses on Super.
Yep, Violet's gonna have to build up a Transcendence very quickly. 60% at the moment for NYXL. Grab gonna become.
And here's the split. Now, from Nene's perspective, you can see Super over here, and the rest of the here. And this is just, a good grab by NYXL. It might seem like Manu is not, still not doing flashy things. He's not doing bumper things or super things, but he's enabling Nene and JJoNak so much. For the next fight, Manu sets up for a flank shatter, and he does this in order to just stop the push from Shock. He ends up being, I don't know, I don't think Shock knows that he's flanking, because they don't really check, and they are going alley from the beginning. So he's gonna end up having to catch them, or try to catch them. He's gonna run back, they notice him, and he's gonna rush back the point.
He makes so much noise though, they should be able to track him. That's why he's crouching.
I don't know.
Walking forward.
JJoNak finds a kill on Rascal though.
Not gonna be able to collapse on him and get a kill, however, so not gonna be punished for his tactics.
He's still got the shadow though.
So you see, JJoNak finds a kill on Rascal. And yes, Shock is just running around right now.
However, off by himself. Gets the bubble right at the last second of the sound barrier gonna be coming through the shatter out from Mono.
Shatter miss, no big deal. Nice block. And this is when Manu is going aggressive, where they have the one-up.
Control of the point, 90% moving up. NYXL getting ready to get the retake here at overtime. We'll be able to do so, but San Francisco Shock have to get onto the point right now. The rally's gonna.
Shock drops down. They use the bubble. Bubble comes out on Manu. You see it here. A kill on Super means fight one.
Shock trying to stay in here.
Trying to get a grab, he just can't get it in time.
He's doing his damnedest, but so far doesn't quite have it. Nene, in the meantime, does have one himself. Slams it.
So yeah, there's not much, happening because Super's dead and Shock, they're just catching up here. NYXL wins the point. Now, we can skip that. The benefit of watching these analyses is I'm not chilling for Omen and Toyota. So this is a replay. Let's see, Numbani defense. That's at 11:56. So NYXL, they try to get some energy, and normally you play Winston here. You play Winston in order to farm Primal and just make it hard for the Reinhardt to push out. Because if Reinhardt pushes out with, well, usually as a Winston you can farm a Primal because of cleave damage. But since they're playing around JJoNak, he needs to be on Reinhardt.
Enough, he will be running the Reinhardt, quite rare to see on this map, especially for the Excelsior.
Yep. Well,
and he goes for swing. He does this wall and bubble. And yeah, just receiving the engage here, because they want to keep the high ground for JJoNak.
He plays forward here onto the corner. Mono taking a couple hits. Right, so he's trying to get close enough to get some hammer swings onto each other.
Now he's gonna kill a Super. He goes low, then he goes in behind the point. And he went in behind the point in order to get some help from Anemo, but ChoiYobin chases him and kills him.
Now Nene gonna be taken out. So the damage still gonna be here for the Shock, but Sinatraa gets stunned up. Violent Rascal gonna be gone.
Who stayed up high, he's the range.
It's not big deal.
I know he's a support player, but he's the one doing the majority of that.
NYXL wins.
His teammates. We'll see
but that's what Manu did.
That's the kind
He just, you know, received the fight, focusing on blocking super and killing super. Now the setup for the same setup again on high ground. Once Shock pushes through the choke, super shields to block for a boop from Anemo, and also to block the stun from Libero. But that opens up a shatter for Mano, and he goes for the shatter, and that's GG for that fight.
But it's the damage output here that turns this fight around, and now they've got the defensive trance here against Sinatra's faster Graviton Surge.
Well, a couple ultimates going to be coming online.
So it's gonna come up soon.
Similar timings here. Or shatters about to be up for both of
So here's the bubble.
these Ryans. Mono
Moth tries to boop off Mano,
that bubble straight.
and now you can see here. Anemo tries to boop Super. Super turns the shield. Mano is shatter.
Away.
And Meko tries to boop as well. Libero tries to, you know, threaten or, you know, threaten the boop or stun. And because Super shields like this, it opens up this big shatter.
As they start pushing their way out, the
And that's an easy shatter.
shatter going to be coming down.
big
Catches
one.
a couple there, yeah. That's going to be the cleanup coming through. 3 members in.
So for the next fight,
Just wants to get a little bit more.
NYXL, they're gonna use their bubbles to farm energy early on. And now this is a mistake they do, because they do it where Shock can speed engage onto them. So in order to receive the fight, Mano needs to focus on not swinging here. He needs to survive, right? And they wait until bubbles are back up and just make sure, you know, making sure that you're not dropping into stuns or dropping into boops or getting focused.
Here, the Excelsior really only using those 2 ultimates, the rally there and the shatter, so they're still on track here. If support ultimates are
Mano,
good,
he gets booped by Moth though, and
should be the opener.
eventually it gets focused down.
Mano,
But you see, he goes crazy low.
Mono going to be going.
So that's why he doesn't swing here.
But now it's going to be the grab coming through. He's still playing up so close. Now the grab locking him in.
And now he can swing.
Bombs coming in. They have not been able to finish him off. The Transcendence
Because enemies were so,
and he
like,
just
close.
stays alive the entire time. Now Violent pops his own. They're down onto the point. They get
They've got
first
the
hit
barrier.
coming through.
they've got the sound barrier.
Mono going to be looking at the match. The sound barrier comes in. The bombs into the back, but Mono has the block on it. Denies that damage away. Keeps his squad safe.
Just gonna get booped real soon. Gonna see Moth here.
Shock nearly picking up that
They push the
second
point
hit.
just to contest.
Back room, spamming away, but he doesn't have that great of a line of sight here to get too much damage in. Still going to be building up, trying to get that trance online. Over 50% now, ready to go. Neko pushes back.
You see Moth? Okay, so Mano gets stunned. Moth comes in,
Still coming through. Super trying to play up
boops in, locks Mano into position here,
into the front.
and he's dead.
Mono oversteps, doesn't have
So the boop
any
came in late because of the bubble.
healing. Will be taken down with a fire strike.
That's enough for Shock to keep the point though.
Turn this around with a grab of their own, but Nene will be taken down.
And since since NYXL have people dead and they get backspawn, they give up the first corner.
Leaving Mono there on the high ground, but it was expensive in terms of ultimates. Sure, Jonak built a second
So,
trance there. It was hopeful
They also
that
give up
was
the corner in order to secure a high ground for Jonak. Once the card pushes the first corner though, they wait until the cart is at the bus. And they want to take a cart fight somewhere here. It's just a good placement for the cart. So, you know, Nene can use his bubbles, Mano can hold far up. But Mano keeps playing the corner and falls back as soon as Shock engages. Now, he also tries to payload shatter but misses, and then he gets bubbled while shattering. Because bubble comes out when shattering, he tries to take it easy, you know, but Shock, they end up speeding on him and killing him, and that's how they cap a second point in one fight.
Now San Francisco
It might seem a bit vague right now, but don't worry.
have
I'll
the start
I'll explain exactly
shadow
what's happening here.
available. No support ultimates yet for the Excelsior, so that is something that they're going to be missing.
So high ground secured,
It only really bought them
and
5
because of the slope here, they need to wait. The slope here it's really awkward. The bus is also causing a block in line of sight for your supports. So if you want to take a fight in this area, you need your supports hugging this wall in order to see, just see up the street. So that's why they wait.
10 seconds of time.
They held on to Libero. If he wasn't focus fired so well by the shock during that grab, even through the Transcendence healing, maybe they could have made that work.
So now, this is a big shatter. Everyone is facing.
But
And
to see how
Shock uses their bubble. Now, you can't really see it right now. There we see. There's a bubble on Mano. Moth uses speed.
coming in, but the shield is up.
And sure, Shatter hits Choyobin, but can't really do much.
Super.
So now instead he plays the corner. The car, but he's being aggroed on. And there's nothing NYXL can do.
Now the counter push. Mono to
Gets killed.
get a ton of damage. Will just get picked off. Super finds the hit.
Should Projected be saved for after Shatter then? No, it shouldn't. It shouldn't, because if NYXL doesn't use their Projected, he's gonna end up stunned or booped or whatever, and it's enough for Shock to block the Shatter. And instead, he needs to rotate back earlier.
Chasing forward. Violet gonna be
Shock to
one
win the
coming
fight.
out. Jonak does take him
Now for next fight,
To killing him in
he's
a lot of these
Mano is gonna take a standard Rhyme positioning. He's holding the corner, and NYXL, they seem to want to block the cart, but they also force bubble engage by blocking the cart, since Super is not gonna start swinging without some bubble on him, right? And they disengage as Shock engages, then they try to engage themselves. Shock disengages, they do the exact same thing NY did. And Super is gonna go for Shatter. Mano blocks it. Then Shatter's back. He blocks a bomb after, he Shatters back, blocks a bomb from Mano. And no, not Mano, from Choyobin. And then goes for a pin and just swings and has a big, hero moment.
amount of healing can stop him from going down.
It's kind of intense because it all happens in a snap second, in 1 second.
There's that much target priority on the front side. Reinhardt.
and a lot of damage.
So he's gonna be on the left side of the payload here as well.
Now, Rally's gonna be out.
The rally. Oh yeah, they engage with rally as well, in order to force the Shock back.
Over onto the cart to start things off. We can see
So now Shock, they use their speed. They haven't used the bubbles yet though.
this is not the usual confidence from the NYXL. They're playing a lot more timidly.
Actually, my bad, they did.
Coming back and forth. Grab's gonna be in. Violent Transcendence will be coming out.
But yeah, here you farm up Shatter.
Not gonna find anything. Now it's gonna be the answering grab.
Block Shatter. Bomb comes out.
Up over the top. Troy Hill.
You Shatter back yourself. You see, he gets booped here by Moth. If the Shatter wouldn't hit before the boop, he would be flying here and he would be still in the animation and he would still
Open.
risk dying.
Pick. It's not gonna be
He blocks the bomb as well,
able to find
goes for
anything.
pin.
Sound barrier through.
Gets
The one
kills.
from Shock expired. That means the NYXL will be able to push back through.
Two eco pushes
Super
here,
big
build
impact.
up those ultimates, slowly
Now
get
for the
back
sixth
into
fight.
things, but they're always gonna be
They're setting up on high ground and they set up early and far up so that they can farm ults. They can use bubbles, get energy, and as they are kiting backwards, here, see, as they're kiting backwards, they can still farm ult on Jonak, then they can right click, etc. And Mano is not gonna die.
one step behind in terms of ult economy after that.
Now, Nana farms up a new Grav. Mano, he keeps himself safe, while in the Grav,
Just around the
Mano goes for a pin,
shatter here for Mano. Without that,
and he pins onto Choyobin. It demacs him, but Mano dies shortly after.
And they're even gonna use that advantage to push to the spawn.
I mean, look how far forward they're playing right now. I mean,
And
it would be disaster if the
I'll
Shock
take
managed
more
to come
soon.
on top.
You see, they barely get out.
Namo, a sliver of HP.
Nana's gonna look for Grav here.
Wall ride. Grab thrown down.
There's the Grav,
Onto the cart, no transcendence, no sound barrier.
and Mano goes for pin. You see, he starts the pin up here, but because he falls back, he ends up dropping. But it doesn't matter because he still clips into the D.Va.
Available.
D-Max on D.Va,
The kills will just start coming.
he dies after, and that's just because it's so much damage coming in. And they're gonna kill Miko and Jonak as well, and it's just so much damage coming in from Shock. They trade their Brig and Diva for Reinhardt, which means that Jonak, he doesn't have any protection anymore, right? And yeah, Libero dies. Mano's gonna respawn here, and he's gonna get grabbed after exiting the choke, and Shock just caps the point.
Aggressive trance we saw fail on Busan, but works here on Numbani. Keeps Sinatra tapped up.
So they're chilling in spawn here in order to take the fight as late as possible, because they're waiting for respawns to run out, right?
He has high energy. He still does, and he's got the grab.
And there's the grab. Unfortunately, grab comes out. And that's enough for Shock to cap it. Now for the first fight on the attack. Let's see here. Mano, he's gonna get a bubble while engaging, but Super, he knows what basically Mano wants to do. He doesn't swing, he doesn't give it any energy, and because nothing gets value from the bubbles, well, the bubbles don't get value, they rotate back out. And they go streets, I mean, they try to find an opening, see if Jonah can get a pick, finds no pick, rotates back up the stairs, and they go like back and forth. Then they, once they go back on high ground here, bubble comes out, they re-engage, but Mano gets booped off while everyone else gets shattered by Super.
They're so reliant on Jonak dealing that damage that they just
You see, they can't find an opening, so they go back.
They're going to take the lower ground approach now. Anamo up high.
Still can't find an opening. You see, Jonak is trying to snipe here. With minimum... Well, he has this line of sight. Where he just tries to find a snipe on a squishy without protection.
His way along the wall there.
Just can't find an opening here.
Which way do we want to go?
They're hoping for Jonak to get an opening to where he can pick off one of the members or start to get them low, and then they're going to press the go button. It just is not happening.
So now, Bubble comes out on Anamo by accident. And that causes Mano to, yeah, not be able to deal with things. So they rotate back out, go streets again, or they fake going streets. But now they go back out on high ground. Once bubbles are back, I mean.
The cracks for the Excelsior starting to show in their playstyle. It's no surprise they're weak on this map.
And Wolf, the caster, he mentions now it shows basically what, well, now the cracks in their playstyle show. And I think it's a big thing because it's very apparent now how NYXL plays. And it's very easy to predict this.
They cannot play their style. They have to be aggressive. They have to speed boost in, and it's not working.
All right, well, the bubble does get on the Mano this
So
time,
he gets
he's able to
spooked
stay
off
alive,
after the
but now
bubble,
the
Shatter comes out,
Super.
everyone just dies. Now for the second fight, there's gonna be a too early bubble on Mano, and Super doesn't engage, and then he gets 0 energy, and they rotate streets again. They try to slowly inch to point, then engage onto Super once cooldowns are back online. Jonak, he finds a kill onto Rascal, and they win the fight with Shadow Bomb and Grab. So there's the too early bubble. Mano just knows exactly, okay, can't really stay, no need to force it. Super is bubbled as well, head back. And worth mentioning, they rotate streets because while rotating, they're still trying to find new opportunities, new openings, but also cut down on the cooldowns for bubbles.
They have to retreat during that cooldown. You're just not going to find a better fight against a team who has positional advantage.
Well, drop down to match. Super gonna be playing here.
Choya Bin finds an opening.
Yeah, he's gonna be very low though.
So now they engage with the bubbles, just try to shove enemies into the back of the point here.
taking a beating, trying to stay alive. NYXL in onto the point. San Francisco playing into the back. No one dead yet. They start re-advancing, denying away the second tick. San Francisco, can they hold on to this?
And you see, they play safe. No need to force stuff. Just play it safe. Look for grab, look for bomb, shatter.
Get the finish. A minute and a half about remaining on the clock.
Rascal dies.
Finds the kill. Super going lower and lower, loses out of the barrier. Grab comes.
And in case you're new to Overwatch, this interaction might look weird, right? He shatters on the ground, and it climbs back up to the payload here. That's because of how low the payload is. So it goes under and above. And they just play so disciplined, NYXL. So disciplined. They kept the point, and now for the third fight, which is this next fight, NYXL, they see bubbles used on Shock, and they engage once the bubbles are about to wear off. They secure the first corner, and then because they have secured the first corner, Shock, they need to wait for better payload positioning. They're gonna take the fight on the first corner though. However, NYXL secures it. NYXL, they lose Anamo, and Mano just keeps playing safe and not to die. Nene, he's gonna grab. This is later down the streets. And he's gonna grab around us somewhere here. So this is when they secure the corner. You don't need to push further down than the slope. This is basically where you don't want to push anymore because it starts to be, it's like a mini low ground, right?
Spawn camp, quote unquote, running through. Push back just a bit as they take a little bit of damage. And then they're trying to get that grab online.
Very close.
So they find the grab soon.
Gotta be careful about this. They have to respect this. No trance.
Bubble gonna be used versus wave.
Yeah, bubbles used, they re-engage. They find the grab here.
Grab comes in from Sinatra, but he only catches it out.
Well, Anamo gets a grab first.
As the sound barrier shield comes in,
they find their own grab soon. Here. Mano, he goes in to try and shatter because Meko is gonna use his bomb. He's gonna die though. But NYXL do turn the fight and win the fight even though Mano is dead.
Shatters out, doesn't find much, and they're not gonna be able to get any kills. Hoban gonna be popped out. It's about as good as it got from that grab bomb combo. San Francisco Shock still trying to hold on, trying to.
So now Anamo is back, but Choyobin, he doesn't have mech. And because they're playing so safe, they don't have to aggress here. They don't, need to do anything special. Instead, they just take it inch by inch, and Shock, they're gonna be forced to walk back because they don't have the D.Va.
Gain control of this card. JJoNak takes a lot of damage, but works his way back, still holding on to some of that armor, keeps himself alive. The cart will start to advance again.
He's doing so much damage for his squad here.
Also, my bad. I meant he tried to win the fight even though Anamo is dead, not Mano.
Be chased away by, in part by his damage alone. Now San Francisco gonna re-engage here. They have that sound barrier about to come online.
Now Mano gets booped. Nothing you really can do, right? He dies. Nene, actually, my bad again. Nene finds a new grab. I mixed up the notes. He's gonna grab even though Mano is dead. They get a kill on Sinatra. They lose all their damage on the Shock side.
They go ahead, they take down Sinatra, they immediately throw down the grab, pop Hoban out of the Mac. NYXL.
And you see JJoNak here. Goes on the side, flanks, shoots on Rascal. Rascal, he's being pushed back just because of JJoNak here. And Anamo comes from the side, so because Anamo is in front of him, JJoNak can flank.
Their main tank still looking to close this out. They'll finish off Hoban now. 3 meters.
And that's how they cap second point. Now for the fourth fight, NYXL, they're gonna see bubbles used. They pop rally and push back Shock. Now they do that so they don't have to use their own bubbles, and they secure the first and second corner easily. Mano then positions himself to take as little damage as possible, by hiding behind the payload, and then keeps looking for a big shatter.
JJoNak just going to be in the back. Transcendence is ready to go. Rallies out from Libero. They push around the final corner.
So see,
JJoNak still
rally used,
sniping, but
securing the first and second corner,
also doesn't have a reason to dump the ult yet. Rally's going to expire. The
and now
ult
he
still
plays to
there.
survive, plays for shield, looks for the shatter,
Closer.
and
A minute plus at the
just,
moment here.
you know, he doesn't look for shatter yet because he doesn't have shatter, but he farms shatter with 5 strikes.
Gotta hold that trance to the last second. If
And
he does, they should be able to burn through a lot
yeah,
of this
farms
damage.
shatter,
Means that Sonata
Nene
cannot overextend
engages
himself.
eventually with a grab, and then bomb comes. Shock answer with their own grab bomb combo, and then a shatter that Mano blocks.
Those orbs from JJoNak. Sinatra desperately trying to get some energy
No
here.
energy, yeah.
Doesn't get much.
It takes some time until it comes.
Saving the bubbles for
They're
the
just
engagement, it would seem.
The longer
farming
it
up
goes,
here.
the better for the Shock.
Also worth mentioning, both teams try to not make mistakes here. They don't want to be creating the openings. But the attacking side, they need to eventually make an opening or start an engage. Here's the grab from Nene. Mano, he doesn't have shatter once super shatters.
Sound barrier through. Answering grab comes in. They get the pin on Amano. Take him.
There, he doesn't have his shatter yet, but he farms it up eventually. Tries to go for a shatter and misses. You're gonna see something called a payload shatter. So see, if you've never played Reinhardt, for example, and you would shatter like this, it might feel like you're not gonna hit anything, right? But because the payload is in the air, it's gonna go past the payload. It's not gonna climb up the payload though, because it's too high. So you only shatter things that are in front of the payload or to the side of the payload. Doesn't find anything though. It's a very tricky shatter on the receiving end as well, because you can't see what Mano is doing. So that's why he's doing it. Choyobin, he's eventually gonna get picked off, and Mano stops Super from just doing super things, and NYXL decap the point.
Rack up the damage. He's breaking through that barrier.
So you see, Choyobin gets booped here, locked into the corner, focused and killed.
Choyobin, however, right up into the front, will get popped out. Almost taken down. But starts advancing again. Super gets the
Super tries to farm up his shatter as well.
He's the one that has to be glued to the
Counterpinning, it can be difficult, but this shows like how focused Mano is and just reacts like in the right moment.
He's the one who has to keep this one contested. They both hit the ground. He gets picked on there by Meko, taken down. The cart almost pushes in. Choyobin with a baby diva manages to tag it for a moment, but with the grab locking up everybody else.
So they cap the point, totally fine. So far it feels like, you know, it feels like you can see like how NYXL are playing, right? Like you can see their team style. It's no longer like this aura of like mystic power. Like you can see where they are failing and where they are not failing.
In my opinion, vastly superior for Shock.
They're still playing extremely well though.
York Excelsior style so well, even though they're
So on the second attack,
stellar themselves.
Mano is gonna go for a very unorthodox push.
Tier and the time bank
He's gonna go for a pin.
It's looking very good for the Shock right now.
He gets bubbled when he's pinning, and I think this is because Super probably expects Mano to not pin. It's very bad to go for the pins, because if you get booped because of bubble being late, for example, then you're gone. You're gonna run out of the map with your pin. You could, for example, get focused after the pin ends, but anyway, in any case, Mano goes for the pin in order to make space for the rest of the team. And yeah, Nene, he finds a pick onto Rascal, and that's enough, you know, the space Mano created was enough to find a pick onto Rascal. Now,
Botched this first defense.
he tried to
Case approach for the Excelsior once again.
keep Mano alive, he ends up dying, but they still kept the point.
But they're just going all in now, it would seem.
So see, here, all the space you want. All the space you want.
Rascal gonna be taken down. Knocked to the floor. Mono staying alive with the
Trying
short
to keep
range.
Mano alive.
First blood gonna be
And you can sometimes see
by NYXL. Is that gonna be
miss
enough
them
to
off here,
lock down the point?
trying to go for the
We'll
boops.
have to wait and see. Libero gonna be taken
Libero,
down.
Mano dead.
Exchange on the exact same
Right now it feels like they're not gonna cap the point, right?
characters, but Choyobin does lose out on the back.
Joke's on you though. Choyobin, he dies.
Meko able to find that. The Baby Diva going to be sailing off the side of the map.
The problem is better charge and more damage here for Nene.
Sinatra dies as well, Violet dead. And he kept the point.
That is through Anamo setting up that protection play there when they crashed into Rascal. That was the opening kill that gave them.
It's over. Jonak has the high ground. Yeah.
But the cart is rolling, and based on what we just
So Mano, he's gonna try to do the same thing, but gets booped here. And he gets booped backwards.
Well, start working their way forward. Playing around the corner are the Shock.
Meko's gonna get demeched as well. And Mano shortly dies after. No, actually, I looked at the wrong notes, my bad. Mano, he plays very safe around the corner. It's still the same thing, he's still playing safe. But they want to secure the first corner here. Sinatra, he dies very early on, and it's a very quick cleanup fight after.
Sinatra 14% behind. Grab's going to be coming out, locks him up. Transcendence is out for Violet, but they manage to focus fire Sinatra. Jonak coming up with a kill. So now that turnaround grab.
You can see like how this is just to mention like Muff. He's going for the boops all the time. Like this is why Mano needs to hold shield. He can't swing. Because if he swings, he's gonna fly. Like he's gonna be flying like Superman.
Gonna be taken away from them.
Just like that. Almost outside of the map.
Will be finished off. Super gonna be going down, and this is gonna be a lot.
But sometimes you can't shield from Discord and all the other damage at the same time. So next fight, Mano is gonna get grabbed. He tries to block a shadow from Super, but as he's rotating, like he tries to block because he's rotating, he shatters, gets shattered, I mean. He doesn't die though. Mano uses his shatter and keeps the shock off point and wins. I keep making the same mistake. I'm sorry about this. I was looking for the last fight on the next round. Mano looks for payload shatter and bubbles. He looks for the shatters after bubbles. You see, Choyobin gets bubbled here. He uses his shatter once his shield dies, but he gets shattered back and Shock finds the first kill. And he gets locked by the car here, unfortunately, on the corner.
Low into the back, answering shatter comes out, locks up a few. Grab now, gonna be finding Jonak and Libero here at the front. The pin comes in, they manage to get rid of the Brig. Bomb through, is gonna be breaking the Rhine shield. There's no one else gonna be taken down by those self-destructs, but now Mano stunned.
So there Shock finds the first kill. Kept the point. They lose the point, I mean. So on the first attack, now we're on the right notes. Mano farms Fire Strike with farms Shatter with Fire Strike early on, and then tries to hold back Shock while pushing. They're not gonna be successful, and no, they will be successful. But Mano is not gonna do anything special, right? It's the Jonak show. This is big though, like 33%. You know, it's nice.
They're pushing their way up here. Super gonna get stunned up at the moment. Shield still raised. Meko coming in from behind, offering up so much damage. They will be
A kill on Super, win the fight. Next fight. Mano, he tries to do the same thing. Now we're in the right note. He tries to do the same thing but gets booped, and then Meko demeched.
Pushing their way forward. Basically have to get it on this attack. Only 35 seconds remaining. Both gets the right click. Trying to knock.
Gets booped way too far back. Which is enough, you know, for Shock to focus the damage.
Super staying alive. Violet under a lot of fire. Nene goes into the back, tries to find him, but the Transcendence will come through. He's gonna have a grab. Mano both gonna be taken down now. Libero, San Francisco Shock. It seems like they've done it.
So now for the last fight. Mano, he gets grabbed. He tries to block the shatter. Gets shattered himself. Doesn't die. Trance is OP. Beat is OP. Watch this though. Kills on Super. Uses his own shatter. They win on Bunny. Easy. So yeah, that's Numbani for you. Let's take a quick look at the stats here before we go for the next map.
those were what they needed to win it. This time, there's...
Let's see. Just compare the deaths. Meko died 5 times to 7 times on Choyobin. Nene, average energy 58 to 54. 1 death less. A few limbs more, not that big of a deal. 1 ult kill less. So Sinatraa and Nene, they are pretty, you know, like, close. Mano, compared with Super, equal deaths, less limbs. That's because he swings less. He just needs to hold shield for JJoNak. He has more stuns and more ult kills. You know, 1 more. Not that big, but I feel like even though Mano is playing so defensive, he's still performing really well, you know, up with Super. Libero. Let's see. Rascal and Libero. It's very close as well. Just a bit more damage on Libero, I think. Rascal, he didn't have as good positioning. I feel like in this fight, Rascal, he got pushed back quite a lot. And then JJoNak, of course. JJoNak versus Violet. Pretty close on damage. A lot more healing done on Violet's side, but less deaths on JJoNak. And you can clearly see the less deaths because of, you know, the pocketing and all. Playing around JJoNak. These stats, they don't really matter much without the context, but they help a lot, you know, when watching all these angles. Let's go for Volskaya.
A bit of a war, but sure. I knew you'll know him.
Yeah, damage amplified, like Alcor says. So let's see, 47-10. It's right here. So first fight, in YXL they're attacking as well. In YXL they see Shock on high ground. They see Shock on high ground here to the, let's say, left from NYXL's perspective. And because they are there, now there's the garage you want to set up in. And NYXL, they can choose to either go low ground here, and then they have to face Shock, leaving, using speed and going high ground, and they can drop onto NYXL as they are passing this corner here. They can also go high ground inside and then drop down. Takes a lot of time. They can also go low ground and then behind point. Very safe. And yeah, well, we're gonna see what they do here. So in any case, they want to see, you want to find picks for JJoNak by playing in garage. Now he's not always gonna be able to play in garage, and he's gonna play for the corners, and that's what Mano then is gonna hold. He's gonna hold the corners for line of sight. And Nene, he ends up dying after some time in the first fight, and NYXL they need to reset. You see, they use the windows here on point as well to see if they drop down.
Take the right side. Brown to the other side. Good charge there from Super. Does get him up on the high ground, but now he's going to be dropping down. Doesn't have that charge.
So JJoNak is secured in the garage. Because Mano is on corner here though, JJoNak needs to fall out of the garage. And he has Libero and Nene blocking for him. He's still in the garage though. Mano comes back in. And yeah, not that much, you know, action. They're all just pocketing and making it really hard for Shock to engage on JJoNak.
Pushes up to the high ground to make sure that he is going to be safe. YXL split off right now, the supports in the tank line, but San Francisco can't get inside the garage to try to eliminate them. They know they're going to be collapsed upon. And
he's still playing in here, you know. Still playing inside.
Here for Choyo, been doing a lot of damage, and JJoNak is isolated.
Yeah, but instantly knocked down below half HP. Choyo doesn't want to mess with him.
This cam down here is also good. So Nene, he ends up dying. But just to point out what's happening here. You have Mano blocking right here. You have Anemo on this corner and this corner here, blocking from off, etc. Anyone trying to engage from Mano's side. Then you have D.Va inside the garage, ready to matrix, boop, etc. And you have Libero as well, here, with Mano. So because None is dead, they need to reset. Next fight. Mano, he's gonna push out high ground. And it's the high ground on the left here. Unfortunately, he's gonna get deleted. And it's just way too much damage. Even though if it's a bubble, you know, there, he gets matrixed, there's too much damage. So much damage. Just deleted. And I think Nene was, you know, trying to soak some damage there as well, but unfortunately, you know, it's a very tight doorway, so it's hard to keep each other safe. So third fight, Mano, he gets blocked by Super when he tries to rotate point. You see Super and Sinatra here. They block him because they can drop onto low ground. And you can check this cam as well. Now, they go behind the point, up the high ground, and yeah, just set up on high ground, get back into the garage. And Mano, he starts getting focused. That's once he drops to the point. He just plays to survive, you know, stays safe, chills out, waits until Nene comes back in with a grab, and then combo it with Mecha. So, let's see here. You see the pipes on the bottom left. Let's see, the pipes are here. Here's the corner for the point. And in YXL, they're just playing this like a choke, you know? JJoNak is sitting here. And Mano, he shields for JJoNak in this corner. Just makes like it's like a small choke. You can do the same thing if you look here on the main screen. Here's this corner here, and then the wall. You can do the exact same thing here. You can do the same thing with garage. And then if you were on the other side, you can do it there as well. Obviously, you don't want to do it on the other side because there's the... Oops. Cam is in the way. Oh yeah, okay, my bad. Good thing you mentioned. Let me put myself here. Then we move these ones up. Okay. So now you can see. Make it like a small choke. And that's why Mano is playing down here. Grab bomb combo, enough to find kills in. They kept the point.
Shatter comes out from both sides. Multiple members knocked to the ground on the side of San Francisco, but no one going to be taken out yet. Trioban tries to make it back into the mech, but JJoNak denies that away. Crucially, the kill coming through. Now Super going to be taken down. And NYXL onto the point, grabbing the first tick. Now looking for the second. San Francisco, though, still playing forward. They lose out on Mont. Sinatra going to be taken down. This will be the cleanup. This will be the finish on A. So many ultimates having to be used there. NYXL managed to build up a couple more. They get close.
So now, they try to snowball this. NYXL, they're gonna have another grab, you see. Nene used his grab early on. Farms a new one. Meko, he also has a new bomb. And... yeah. There's not much you can do as Shock, like. This is when Shock feel helpless. Mano creates space.
Does manage to stay alive.
Now Sinatra has Grav as well, but they don't have a bomb.
On the point, rally out from both sides. Transcendence available for Violet. Grab's gonna be coming through, locks up Sinatra. The bomb thrown in straight on top. They're trying to block this one. But it's
Trying to shatter.
over to Meko. Meko had a triple straight home.
Big bomb, big kills.
And now, Rascal isolated.
Cap the point. Eventually gonna cap the point. Shock they're gonna try to stall, but you know. We all know NYXL is gonna win this. That fight. Obviously, when watching the game, can't really see the future. So on defense here, Mano is gonna start on Winston, and he wants to start on Winston because of how far they can position their Zen. So let's see. Gonna use the bottom left here. They position the Winston in the corner here, and they want to keep their Zen on high ground. Now, if they get pushed back, well, first thing, they want to intercept the enemies by the first choke. If they can do it, Mano's gonna get a lot of charge. JJoNak finds easy kills. However, I think they kite back, won't kite back to point. JJoNak, he goes garage, up the stairs, you know, tries to get high ground again. He doesn't have to go high ground, but it's really easy to stay safe here as Zen. And they most likely expect Shock to not play Winston themselves, so that's why they played Winston here. And they don't need a shield anymore for JJoNak.
Well, never been able to reverse sweep in the past. Let's see. There is a first time for everything. Question is it now? For the San Francisco Shock. Violet taking a lot of damage here in the back line, but the rest of the team pushing forward here onto the point. Rascal tagged up.
You're right, Alex. I muted myself by mistake. Okay, so I'm gonna go back here. So, what's gonna happen is they're gonna kite back. Mano is gonna get focused. So the play here is use bubble, use jump, and you try to stay alive until you have the jump back. Because, well, now we re-engages. Because he jumps too far up, you see, he jumps way too far up, he's way too close to the enemies. It's gonna take a lot of time until he hits like the pinnacle of the jump. So let's draw out the jump. You know, if it's like an arc, like this, once he hits like the apex, he stands still in the air for a bit, and then falls down. During this time, gets focused.
Pushing forward here onto the point.
Just too much like time. Bubble comes online too late. He ends up dying, and they lose the point. This is not normally how the Winston setup is supposed to be. You are supposed to be able to survive longer with Winston. And I think that Mano went for the wrong jump location here. Instead, he could have gone for high ground here, or you know, something else to just get out quicker.
Seems like NY is just gonna be surrendering the point off that. So massive.
He switches to Rein, and that's because you want to block the shadow, you want to hold shield for JJoNak, and be able to hold the ground. So he's gonna play to survive, contest point. He does a great job, but then ults come out from both teams, and Shock just they come out as the winners. He kept the second point.
But with 7 minutes on the clock, I think Shock should be able to eventually get through. The question is, how long does it take?
Yeah, definitely the better choice, but still somewhat a low risk, low reward situation, given that the Shock can go for these eco pushes with this massive time bank. Pushing their way forward though. We're looking to close.
So yeah, he plays to survive here because of JJoNak in the bottom.
It out now, Sinatra trying to build up, gets sunned up, but will be topped back up. Mono down below half. Sinatra, sliver of HP remaining as he works his way around.
So Shock to heal up and then re-engage.
Going to be there first for Nene.
That's going to be huge. huge. Violet's gonna have to be perfect with that trance.
See how well they've been tracking it. Choihoben, he's not.
Here's an unfortunate thing. Nenny gets stunned as he's grabbed and goes really low.
Getting closer to that sound barrier, but it gets taken out of the fight by Mono. He managed to find Libero on Meko. However, the bomb coming through gets rid of the
Just
Diva.
bomb kill,
San Francisco still playing up here on the
demect,
point.
etc. You can't stop the damage afterwards.
For him to survive.
You don't have your shatter as well, so there's
No healing really on the
there's
front
not much
for NYXL.
Mano can do here. You know, he just needs to stay alive and farm shatter.
The rally up from Libero. Just giving that armor the best that they can do.
He tries to find the shatter, but Shock, they don't need to drop the shield. They know it. They see that he's going low here.
Gonna find anything, gets blocked out. He almost
And
goes down.
that's just super
Gonna be
playing
limited again.
well.
Dumps this up the struck, but will not be able to make it back in and does not find a pickoff, so no pressure alleviated for NYXL right now. Mono now taken down, the front line's been shattered.
And yeah, it's very difficult to come back from these situations on the defense because unless you have ults, you need to find picks or you need to push back the Reinhardt. But they all funnel into super here
And Amo pushed up
in the
side,
choke
Shatter comes in, locking up Jonik in the back. They start taking
and
the
cover
lead.
all angles.
5.5
They can't get booped, they can't get stunned,
Close it out.
etc.
Massive time.
So next up,
Once again had Jonak isolated, and it's a big problem when he's not able to do damage given
they're gonna attack. First fight, Mano rotates high ground. And they do that to secure high ground for Jonak. If Jonak has high ground, it's game over for the other team usually. Mano, he drops down.
this is a map where
He finds a kill onto Nene. He finds a kill with Nene, I mean. And then very quickly kept the first point.
already been identified by Shock, and if Shock can identify them and abuse them, what does that mean about Vancouver that you'll face in the playoffs later? That's what
So they watch through the windows here as well. I just want to point that out. They look through the windows and see that they're holding close. So they want to flush out Violet, otherwise Violet is going to free farm.
you're afraid of.
Oh, Violet already taking a
He almost even
lot of
dies,
damage
though.
in the back, but he's gonna be okay. Gets an armor back.
They can't deny New York getting the high ground this time, actually, so they're going to get up here. Jonak is going to get that line of sight advantage here.
Just want to show one thing.
Could do with it.
Push their way up. Super already down below.
Jonak, check the Jonak cam.
Trying to farm out where he can. Jonak trying to find the snipe there on the Violet. He
Look
plays
at-
around the corner.
Look at the
Is
difference it makes.
really trying to snipe Violet.
Zen.
Yeah, but now going to be dropping down into the thick of things. Jonak. The battle's in Yannick. It's so many dinks. You're going to hear him coming through. All of those headshots. Register.
So everyone on Shock's side, they're just going super low.
San Francisco's
Like Super himself here. This is a very normal feeling, you know, for Reinhardt. You sit in a corner, you hold shield, you just... You like feel like, get off me.
shot. Overall, the
Nothing you can do.
dangerously low, and Super's going to be taken out. All the tanks, both supports down.
It's just because he got split off from the teammates there.
Target after target, rather.
They kept the first point.
That's gonna be
They go for the second point.
leading the charge now, gonna be matched by Violet.
A bit too far.
Into this point with the Transcendence. Violet will match
So Mano, he farms Shatter, he wants to push Shock towards Coast.
longer fight. Nene's gonna
He ends up being booped instead, just like you saw in the last, frame before I skipped.
incredible time bank
He
here on the
gets
second
back
round.
in time,
They started.
you know, before the fights ends or, you know, people get killed, and then he finds a big Shatter again.
Looting the charge now, gonna be matched by Violet.
And he's got it.
Haven't even
So now he's dead.
alone. Is
Let's
it
forward a bit.
turn this around, you would expect. It was Jonik is still
He tries to get
alive.
back.
Now putting damage in that back line.
And NYXL, they're just playing safe. They find Sinatra on the side there. Killed Sinatra. And now Mano goes for the backline Shatter.
Can gather back together and try to stabilize here. Choihoben stunned up onto the point, gonna be knocked out. That's gonna be the self-destruct coming through. Will not find a pick, but make
So because Super is pushed to the side, backline Shatter is free. Totally free.
it to the back. The rally gonna be rolling from Rascal, but now Super gonna be eliminated. The Shatter coming in. Mono gets a pin on the
That's such good team play. But also good Shatter by Mano.
tick comes through still.
So they kept second point. Now on the second defense,
Questions.
Now the question to be asked.
Mano starts on Winston, but he disengaged and jumps out earlier.
Again.
Well, think about how Mono, how quickly he got taken down on the attack. That was what really allowed for San Francisco to get
Shock.
to the point.
They're still gonna try and kill him, but they end up getting kited and just free farmed by Jonak and Nene and everyone else. So he jumps onto high ground now. He doesn't want to drop down. Usually you want to wait a couple of seconds because of jump cooldown.
A bit of damage, have to be careful, but Libero taken down, but Super answered for as Anamo goes forward, gets a melee hit onto the Rhine to take him out, and yeah, this is going to be the kills coming through, so good hold here on the first attack by the NYX.
So they found kills. Second fight. Manu uses Primal here. There's going to be a grab from Nene right on the corner here. And Manu is going to use Primal. Now, it's not Primal to do damage or anything. Directly damage through the Primal. It's more, he wants to lock the enemies in order to secure the kills. So, I'm going to show exactly what I mean once the grab is out. They win the fight, in any case.
And there are ways they could trade this back. Your biggest fear, though, is going to be the first time that Nene grabs. How many ults need to be used there? You need to use your ults to win that fight and get the point, because if you can't do that, you're always going to be behind in ultimates. They need to take control of this zone first before they can force NYXL down.
Grab is online, and I'm almost dead, but we'll go ahead and lock him up here right onto the corner. No.
So you see, now enemies are not dying, and the grab is ending. This is dangerous because if the enemies get out here and can heal up, they're gonna re-engage. And Ryan Goats has a lot more damage than Winston Goats. He uses the Primal in order to secure the corner here, in order to boop the enemies inwards, and make sure that Jonah can find the kills, Nene can find the kills, etc. And it's not necessary, but I think that's the reasoning. He didn't expect the damage to come in.
Doesn't use the rally, knows that it's not enough for them to stay in the fight. 2 ults used by NYXL.
Then for third fight, Manu is gonna get shattered. He doesn't die. He tries to get a big cleave, and then he dies. He switches for Reinhardt for second point, and yeah, Shock they kept the first point.
It's going to take a little bit more time.
It's been really slow going for him to try to build that up. Sinatra a lot of damage on the entrance. Shadow's going to be coming down. Bubble not going to be fast enough. The sound barrier is. Keeps Mono and Nene both alive. Sinatra nearly with the grab online. They'll start ticking up here on a 3.5 minutes remaining. Jump into the back. Mono trying to disrupt them, but gets shredded down.
So there, Mano dies.
They still have the bump up to 3.5.
I'm not gonna evaluate the fight more because I want to focus on Mano here. He switches Reinhardt, holds close up here, and this is basically like when they played on Busan, where they kite back, you know, with bubbles and try to farm ults, etc. They want to make Shock use their bubbles as well. So you see, Shock use their bubbles. Now they are gonna have their own bubble soon.
Taking a lot of damage in the front. Fire strike gonna be denied away. Super pushing forward. Violet as well in onto the point. Pretty entrenched.
Manu dies early on, but NYXL still wins the fight. And he just gets pushed back, then focused, killed. Yeah, they win the fight. Mano, he's gonna hold far up here. Afterwards, I mean. Might seem close, but they're totally safe. You see, Shock, they have 2 respawns, and NYXL, they have all respawns coming back. So yeah, he's gonna hold far up. Kite back. Get some, you know, shadow farm. And he's gonna get grabbed on point though. He's gonna die with the team, and once he's back and tries to shadow after the respawn, he doesn't find anything, and then gets killed again with the rest of the team.
Pushing their way forward, building up that energy very rapidly. Sinatra surging up, throws down the grab. Saw the D-Matrix comes in, knows that they have that cooldown. Mano's gonna be taken down. Sound barrier.
So Mano dies here. He's gonna respawn.
They can't quite finish him off. Now it's gonna be the grab coming through the bomb up over the top. Mekko looking for the pickup. No, it's Troy Hillman's rather. Throws it in, manages.
Shadow blocked.
Get a kill there on Mekko as he gets eliminated.
And Shock, they're gonna cap the point here.
16 seconds.
Now this is when players on stage usually, you know, feel fatigue in fights. Well, in matches. Going for the third attack. In the first fight, NYXL only has one chance with this fight. You have 1 minute, and they rotate straight to garage, but they make sure that there's no sneaky stuff, there's no like high ground pushes, drops, etc. And just play strictly. Strict, I mean. Strict and disciplined. It block damage for JJoNak, enable him, and then find a pick onto Violet. Super dies as well, Libero dies, but Shock, they end up losing the point. So check JJoNak here.
JJoNak just going to be looking for targets. Ball's taking a couple shots, not seeing any opportunities to push his way in and try to isolate somebody yet. They force them back around the corner, shifting to the other side. Now they're going to have that high ground.
Gonna go high ground, and this is where JJoNak finds the kill.
That's the idea here. They made it work last time. It was a long fight, but JJoNak did the damage. And he gets
Violet dead.
There you go. That's exactly where they want him. Violet going to be taken down. Disaster for the Shock. Nearly with that Transcendence online. Still going to be.
This is so big for them.
Left to go.
Libero dies. Super's gonna die though.
So much more than that. Trance is now online. So good luck finishing off anybody else.
So there's the kill. That's all you need to see to cap the first point. So now they're gonna go for second point to try to snowball this. Mano, he goes super aggro and gets pushed off, but he plays safe. He tries to guard from Sinatra's damage, or guard for Sinatra's damage, and also super shatter. He eventually gets focused down and discorded and just tries to, you know, he tries to block the shatter but gets focused because of discord, because since he's turning like in a grab or just in place. I mean, you see, he tries to block super shatter, but because discord, he dies. Super is gonna die though, and NYXL, they're gonna cap with Mano dead because of a grab bomb combo. You can see it here in the lower left. So yeah, we cap the point. Now for the defense though, Mano, he's gonna be on Reinhardt this time. He's gonna hold high ground for JJoNak opposite to the garage. He drop down to contest, then play safe, kites Shock, and he pushes back in once bubbles are back. They do the exact same thing as normal, you know, as usual. I mean. They find a kill onto Super, demake Triobin, and they lose Mano and Nene though, and Shock caps the point.
And Shock has no time to waste here, so if they have to reposition, that's basically game over. It has to be now, it has to be perfect, but I just don't see this working.
Already 20 seconds gone. Only the hope of building up another 30 after they can cap.
So yeah, just, you know, trying to find something for JJoNak here, dropping down. Mano goes super low, so that's why he falls back like this. And he keeps looking through the window in order to see who's on point. Are they holding close or not?
Do they wait? How much do they surrender? Mano starts pushing forward again. Triobin's got the side angle, almost takes him out, but now Super's got to raise the shield. They push forward. They'll be able to push him out.
Just the kill on Super. Mano dies. And now the trade kills. Shock, they're gonna find the kills and eventually cap the point though. Second fight here. Second point. Mano contests points. The contests point. Kills Super. And sets up NYXL for the win.
One more shot for the Shock.
Normally I would say that it's possible because crazier things have happened, Wolf, but I don't think crazier things have happened. They get the sun up there on to Mano, but already a very rough.
You see, he plays safe, receives the engage, and everyone else comes in and deals damage after. You win the point. Now for the last map, Dorado. 1:18:01. Let's see.
Early, going to be pretty easily taken by the attackers.
So, in this moment in the stream for the match, I mean, the spectators, they ended up mirroring or flipping the cameras basically. So that's why we have Triobin here instead. However, we're still gonna try to figure out what Mano did. They do the same thing. They set up early, they kite back, try to fast molds, find picks, etc. And just play efficient. Extremely efficient. Mano is gonna get focused down, but Nene finds a grab, and then YXL they score the first kills. Sears, yeah, they play far up, they disengage. They re-engage afterwards. And Shock, they try to boop, but they don't find the boops. Then they re-engage themselves. So there's the grab from Nene. Find the kills, turn the fight.
Building up his grabs faster than others areas. And now it's the commonplace, the norm in this meta. And you see that Nene does exactly.
In the second fight, Mano tries to shatter. He doesn't find anything though. Then both teams use ults and they trade kills. Mano dies late in the fight though. And Nene's grab gets eaten.
Shatter coming through, Super not really finding too much, and Violet in the corner has to use the Transcendence to try to stay alive as Nene gets closer and closer to that next.
So yeah, Nene farms grab here. It's gonna get eaten soon. Mano died. And Mano comes back. He's gonna kill Super, and then Shoyobin, while Shoyobin is bombing. But NYXL, they still, you know, they still have a hard time. They don't lose the point, but they have a hard time in the fight. There's the kill. Grab got eaten. And they just play extremely tight, you know? No openings. And there's the kill onto Choyobin. Now for the third fight. Mano is gonna play safe. He tries to block the shatter from Super. And Super is completely blocked out, but Shock uses the grab. They have a lot of ults, and you know, both teams have a lot of ults. A lot of ults are going to be used as well. Both teams scoring kills. Shock, they end up capping first point though.
It's going to be close.
Dangerously so. Meko taking a lot of damage in the back. Bomb set. Mano.
Super shatter here. Mano, you can't really see it, but Mano tries to just block Super. There's the grab. And both teams use ults. It's the last fight, so they really want to win this. JJoNak gets focused here though.
He actually managed to pilot pistol down JJoNak, which is hilarious.
So they're up, capping first point. For the next fight, Mano, he drops down by the park, contests card, before he turns the second corner, and then JJoNak kills Violet. Shock, they push up, but Mano wrecks them, like, completely destroys them. So Mano is gonna drop down soon.
I gotcha! And he looks up and like, oh, you're above me. Okay. Not gonna throw the grab. He's gonna be holding on. Shatter comes out. Catches Violet. He will be taking
Violet dead.
Sound barrier. Too late from Moth. A couple extra seconds and they would have been able to save him. Maybe they could convert this into a team fight win, but now, without there's any Zenyatta.
And Shock, they're gonna try to engage here anyways.
Rally, they want this now.
They're still gonna be going, yeah, Super. Push forward, taking a ton of damage.
But Mano, he just wrecks them. Now we're back as well.
Oh, this is an egregious usage of two ultimates. When the barrier misses like that, it's twofold a problem. You don't save.
So for the next fight, Mano is gonna block Super, and it opens angles for JJoNak. Then he just plays safe, farm shatter, gets nothing in the shatter, but NYXL stops Shock from capping second point. So I'm gonna show exactly how Mano creates these angles for JJoNak. So if we check here, Mano plays by this small tree, right? And JJoNak, he's sitting on high ground right now. Let's use yellow instead. JJoNak is sitting here. He's gonna drop down. Check the bottom left. here. He's gonna play this angle.
Cart will start
So Mano, he sets up so he can shatter everyone on cart. And because of that, Super needs to block. Which opens Super from, you know, shots from Jonak.
This fight has to be one-sided for the Shock.
And that's why they go on the left side of the payload.
Has to be. They need to somehow isolate one target and kill it even during the trance. They've got to.
So now you see on the bottom left here, Jonak tries to find kills like this. Super all alone to the side because of Mano.
Kill somebody during Jonak's trance.
Well, Grab's going to be coming through. Violet bought the transcendence, but Moth has already been taken down. Jonak finds the kill. The bomb straight in on top. Not going to be getting any picks. Answering bomb now coming out, looking for some.
Blocks the bomb.
No one goes down. Other than Moth as he tries to get.
Finds nothing in the shatter. No big deal though. They're gonna win the point.
Punishes the enemy brig. Nene wrapping around the side, nearly takes Shoy Hillman out of the suit, and somebody's got to tag in. They boot Moth back. No one can get there.
And that's it. They just play extremely efficient.
Fourth maps in Lost Series.
Now for attack here.
Last season.
Or defense. Well, yeah, attack. First fight, 126-25. It's gonna be a small skirmish with Super on the first corner. There's not gonna be any kill, you know. Super's not gonna die this early.
Situations like this where he gets high ground for
Emano is not bumper, he's not gonna make miracles. And just play Super aggro. But there's a small skirmish, pushes back Super, and plays to survive. He's gonna get focus, so he plays to survive in order to survive in the choke. He then fakes a rotation and breaks the choke.
Remember last time Nene got a grab in this fight and then was able to hold the choke. San Francisco Shock far from that reality here at only 30% for Sinatra.
Dropping the way down, ton of damage going through on Mano. Unable to finish him off, but still chasing forward. Shoy Hillman up onto the high ground. Helps force him back through the underpass. Sinatra just going to be fishing for as much charge as he can get.
My bad. I muted myself again. My throat is yeah, messing with me. See, I was gonna say, Mano, he's gonna fake the rotation like he did here. Then he just pushes back Super and plays on lower HP than normal. And he sets up Nene for a grab. And there's a BRB screen. Oh, my bad. I messed. Yeah, I pressed two buttons here. So yeah, he pushes back Super. He sets up Nene for a grab. And then he just, how do you say it? He goes back, you know, to play on lower HP than normal. He gets his own shatter and fakes the shatter in order for Nene to be able to go for the grab. Choyobin, however, he gets a big bomb and NYXL they lose as a result.
Barely ahead of Nene at the moment.
I went for the mute button again. But yeah, here this is when they push back.
Melted down by Sinatra, so can't play in behind the Reinhardt like he so often
Try to make so much space. And Mano plays on much lower HP than normal here when he goes back in. Sure, he's on 400. But now he's looking for the shatter. And there's the grab.
Taking him out, answering grab comes through. Sound barriers in from the NYXL. Bomb up into the top. Violet gonna be taken down.
Super gets the shatter, and that's how the bomb gets the kills. So yeah, they have to reset. They rotate to high ground on this second fight, and they're gonna play safe. Normal stuff, rotate high ground, play safe, and then you know, push up to Fountain, hold payload, hard engage shortly after, but Shock disengage very quickly. Mano tries to kill Super, and it's right after Nene grabs. Then, you know, unfortunately there's not enough damage, so Super doesn't die. And Mano dies instead because he's focus fired.
Next few ultimates. Rally and Sound Barrier ready to go from them so far. Speaking of Rally.
So this is when Shock disengages.
Pushing their way back.
Then he's gonna look for the grab soon. He's on 94.
Rally gonna be expiring here.
Grabs up for Nene with no trance. I don't know if he knows that though, because it's so close.
Violet nearly has it. Jonik as well. Dangerously close.
And now they try to kill Super, but unfortunately there's the beat. And Mano gets hard focused. He dies.
Bomb coming out, not gonna get anything. Meko makes it back.
They lose the, they lose the fight. Now it's the last fight. Mano, he's gonna get shattered, and he dies. He dies to a bomb, and Nene's grab gets eaten by Meko. No, but Meko goes for a kill on Super, and once Mano is back, he goes for a shatter. And that shatter, it's gonna hit the whole backline. It's gonna be enough to turn the fight and decap the first point. So yeah, there's the death. Grab eaten. Kill on Super.
Gets his own grab in, however, locks him up. Anamo gonna be taken down. Treyhoven just sitting straight on top of their heads, spraying away with a left click, trying to finish him off. Transcendence gonna be expiring from the side of Jonak. Violet running his own, keeping his diva
Big shatter on the backline.
alive. Shatter comes in, locks up Sinatra. Tries to
he's
pin,
doing
but
it,
cannot
though.
get it, but now
And it
Violet
might be
gone,
six.
ball taken out.
He's doing it.
Support's alive. Mono holding him on by a thread. Super manages to get Jonak, but now Nene, he burns Treyhoven out of the mech.
You would assume this fight is lost, right?
The Baby Diva's gonna be gone. They invest to grab the lock up Super and finish him off. They will be able to advance this.
For NOXL, they don't, when they look up lost fight in the dictionary, obviously in the OWL dictionary, they don't find it. It doesn't exist.
America, but he comes in this season as the best pickup New York could have asked for. Some of the best Zarya stats in the league across the board. That fight was a lost fight in any other scenario.
So for the next fight, Moth, he dies, but Nene, he gets killed as a result. Mano, he slowly walks up and tries to make Shock walk backwards and just, make space. He then tries to shatter, but Super blocks it. They make space, but Shock pushes them back quickly after the Mano shatter. And Shock then has 6 ults, so NOXL, they need to play safe and just not let Shock find any kills. Super finds nothing in his shatter, then he grabs, and Shock starts losing players.
Support ultimate's looking a lot better for San Francisco.
So now Mano creates some space, walks up.
Barrier ready to go. Super taking a lot of damage. Keeps himself safe. Very patiently being played right now by NYXL. This is what we've come to expect from them.
Moth wants to cut off
So this is soon when they're
if possible here.
close to the 6 ults. This is the shatter. Nothing found because of a block. Gets pushed back. And they need to play super safe here.
But as you say, 6 ultimates ready to go. Nene with the grab.
Super is pushed to the side, and they try to engage on him. Blocked shatter. Big kill on Violet. And this is it. This is it, because now NY, they have so much stronger ults. So for the 5th fight, NYXL, they have the advantage in ult economy. They block a grab bomb combo. Meko, then he turns the fight with kills on his bomb. They don't have the grab. He just goes for 2 kills on his own. And that's enough for NYXL to win the fight. And cap the point.
To finish off their stage. Super playing up around the corner, so very far away from that next Earth Shatter. Mono waiting. Nene trying to build up. The grab's going to be coming through. They can't deny that one away. The bomb's going to be thrown in by Treyhoven. Looking for the big ults. The sound barrier's there, and Meko answers back.
There it is.
A double. That might just be enough. Up into the air. Sinatra now going to be taken down. Treyhoven sitting on the cart trying to stay alive. Has the Transcendence out from Violet.
And they cap the point. Easy.
XL, they take the
NY wins. NYXL wins, I mean. So yeah, that's that's the player analysis for Mano. He's extremely consistent. He's very good at understanding the objectives, like team objectives. He's a extremely strong team player. And it's not that he's only defensive or anything. He's able to go aggressive as well, but only if JJoNak is safe. Otherwise he can't. So yeah, that's it.